we would like to discuss, including we were thinking of discussing the role of parent, that being like a theme for today. So we can explore that also. Right. So let me start quickly. The first slide is just a kind of a placeholder which talks about what we think is a subtle difference between schooling to homeschooling to unschooling to open learning. I'm not going to really spend time on these, only saying that these are all terms. Finally, it's all about me or we as a family or me as an individual thinking, hey, how do I want to live my life? I think that's where the whole journey started for us when we started thinking about, hey, what is the purpose of education? And somehow for us, the answer that came to us was that, well, the purpose of education is to live. So living and education is the same, and if they are the same, then it makes sense to let the child lead his life because it's his life. So he or she can decide what to learn, how to learn, what all to learn, how much to learn, how well to learn, not just in the early years, but more importantly, I would say, and more impactfully at the later years when they can chart their own professional journeys and move into their professional lives in the way that they would like to, not scripted, not directed by others, but directed by the individual. In that sense, open learning is about recognizing and giving that freedom to the child, not because we want to give freedom, because they are inherently responsible for themselves. And apart from being responsible, one keeps on learning one's responsibility throughout the life. So it's an unending, you can say, learning journey. So open learning is hence more about the responsibility and each child being responsible for himself and herself, just like we would like to be considered as responsible for ourselves at this age. So just to summarize how an open learning journey goes, at very young age, children are looking for exposure. As they grow slightly older, they are more into exploring different things which attract them. Not everybody explores everything. And as they grow older, maybe into their teenage years, that's when they want to deep dive into few areas, or maybe many times one area, to gain expertise in that area. And if they continue into one area, or whichever number of areas they continue in, they develop deeper and deeper expertise in that field, and then they reach a stage where they can use that expertise to start earning. So that's what we call as the enterprise stage. Obviously, whether we are at enterprise or expertise or exploration, we never stop getting exposed. We never stop really exploring. So those continue to be part of our journey. So that is open learning in very brief. So what is Aarohi? Aarohi is a community of families who are doing open learning as a family first. And now we are connected as a community to kind of together do this journey. We don't need to physically live together, but we are living together in that sense, not physically, but together doing this journey, collaborating, learning things, doing things, supporting each other, and basically creating a lot of possibilities for ourselves and for each other, which is why it is not the whole Aarohi community is not restricted to any place. We say the whole earth is ours, and we can literally go anywhere and learn from anybody. In terms of people also, the whole world is ours. Yes, we do have a campus about 60 kilometers from Bangalore. Some people come to campus, some people go to each other's house or city, some people travel together, and obviously each home by itself is a campus or a learning space. So that's how we look at Aarohi as an entity. So it's more like a community. Preeti was talking about Aarohi X, which is basically communities who are in other cities, not in the campus. They are connecting with everybody, including the people at campus, through using technology on a daily basis. In fact, if you ask Preeti, her whole day was super busy today, connecting with so many different people. I'm surprised she's here, not tired. And yeah, so that's how a lot of families connect and do a lot of different things. And I'm insisting it's families, it's not children connecting, but it's families connecting. And as children grow older, so we have, they want to do their journey of finding their passions and kind of crafting them into professions. And that's where what we like to say is that, hey, there is an abundance of possibilities in professional world today. And the best part is that the youth today want to learn from challenges, rather they thrive in challenges. And also the world is very ready to embrace the youth. They're not trying to, the hierarchies are disappearing. Whoever can bring value to the world or to any organization, the world and organization are more than ready to honor that value. So that's the beauty, which is why we have created this co-versity, which is basically for youth, mostly teenagers, who get explore different interests if they have different interests, or any one interest by deep diving into it together with other youth. So they have a cohort. And how do they do it? They do it by doing industry projects or internships and stuff like that, actual hands-on industry work. Yeah, that's how they do it. And obviously they're supported by guides, mentors, and experts from industry, as well as the Aarohi community. So that's, I just wanted to give you a little picture of the co-versity group. So we have children who are part of co-versity, 14 to 21. We have children in the or families with children who are much younger, right from very young, 2-3 years to all the ages. Yeah. All right. So I want to also, I like this particular thought or quotation or whatever you want to call it, that or the analogy that the bird, just like the bird, we as individuals, we thrive not because of where we are or with whom we are, but because of what we are able to do. And so the whole idea is to develop ourselves, and that's what open learning honors. That let's go ahead and develop ourselves by doing things that we like doing. So that's the summary. Yeah. Okay. So let me stop the presentation part. So yeah, we can start. More people can join on video. That would be nice, so that we can also have a visual connect. We also have Dwiji from our community with us. Hi, Dwiji. So we have few people to respond. So say there's Preeti, there's Dwiji. So you can ask questions and we can respond. We had also thought of an agenda of role of parents based on a little kind of a reflective quiz that we had created. I don't know how many of you are there after having filled that up. If that is where this group is, then we can take up that those questions. But if the group here is just to know more about open learning and about Aarohi, we can start there. So wherever this group is, you have to drive the conversations by sharing something or asking a question. We are there to interact with you. So it's all very informal. Yeah. So the floor is open.
So one question we have is, how are we going about exposure for a child to understand that like something is their passion, like whether it's a bike ride, cycling, or some swimming, or business management or something. But when we don't expose him to that, whether it's swimming, if we never take him to the pool or never let him play in the water, like he would never realize that that is his passion, right? So my question is basically, there are some areas which we don't really expose a child. So basically, how are we going about exposure?
That's very interesting. Uh, Preeti, you want to respond to that? Or rather, respond to it in a way, how are you doing it? As in, how are you as a family doing it? Not in theory, but as your journey.
Yeah, so um, yeah. So exposure wise, Sindhu, I think whatever we do in our lives on a daily basis is all exposure to our children. Whatever, matlab, anything. So for us as a family, we have like, as Ratnesh has given it to me, so I'll just share about our family, how we have done when our daughter was born. From then till now, like uh, we have tried, we have been to most of the places outside, inside. We play with her. We be as a family together with grandparents, with everybody in social circle, and going out for musical concerts, for going out for all the exhibitions or anything happening outside, any play party or any kind of thing happening, going to garden, going for any nature something, or trekking or swimming or um, uh, surfing. So anything that happens around, so we just be part of it. And I suppose that's the exposure that happens automatically and naturally. So mm, and being open learners, and when we have all the all the time in life to spend more and more on exposure only. So if we also do road travels, we just pick up our car and move out, and then go to different cities and stop at any point wherever. Like there is no agenda of reaching a destination. So anything that interests us on the way, we just stop the car and then watch that, talk to people around, and discuss things. And so everything is exposure that way, I think. So I suppose that's how we have kind of exposed. Viji and Ratnesh, please come to my rescue.
रेस्क्यू क्यों कर रहा है भाई?
That's a
Sindhu,
good point.
You're
actually.
flying. There is no need to rescue you.
yeah. Sorry, Sindhu, you were saying something.
No, I like her point, like taking to different places. I mean, wherever any event is happening, or just going there and
Yeah. So, couple of things. One is, I feel when we say we are not able to provide sufficient exposure, right? There is a certain expectation that a child should be doing certain things, right? Or I should be doing certain things for my child, right?
Mhm.
Sindhu?
Okay, you are saying that I have that expectation.
No. I'm asking.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and I feel.
So, like before you proceed, like
Mhm.
where my question is coming from is,
Mhm.
I came from a small town, small town in India. So
Okay.
I was not exposed to many options. I don't know many
Correct.
things that exist. So it's
Okay.
more of a going to school, coming back from school. So get good marks, be an engineer or doctor, whatever, and that
Yeah.
whole cycle. So
Yeah.
even it's not just me. Even my parents were also not really aware that
Mhm.
we should be. These are the options our kids can have. Like they can do
Mhm.
these and all. So that's where my question is coming.
Yeah, I understand that. I'm just trying to, and you have actually given a lot of, what do you say, food for thought. When I grew up in Bangalore, but we used to visit my cousins in different places, and some lived in villages, some lived in Chennai. And soon after we returned from vacation, school started, I would fight with my parents, saying that, life in that small village is so much more fun. Why are you denying me that time there, that exposure? I was playing with that goat. I was climbing up the tree. I was, what do you say, plucking tamarind, right? So I used to have a fight with my parents, and my parents would feel, yeah, certain things we cannot do, certain things we can do. And because we are living in the city, we cannot do that, and we can do these things, right? So what I'm trying to say is that when we choose to do certain things, whether it is exposure, whether it is adventure, whether it is travel, there are certain things we will not be able to do, right? So in some sense, what I'm trying to drive at is that exposure happens in everyday life, right?
Mm.
As long as we are conscious of it, right? I mean, I might have, like, for example, I had hurt my toe a few days ago, and I was restricted. I couldn't move around too much, right? So then I could complain that my exposure was limited. But then I decided, no, I will use this time to do some stitching that I had not been able to do earlier, right? So I use that opportunity to get an exposure, which in my case, it wasn't really exposure. It was because I knew about it, and it was a practice, right? So what I'm trying to get to is that there will always be limitations. You will never be able to fill up the glass. So joy is in finding that even a half empty glass is better than an empty glass.
It's half full always.
Yeah.
So adding on to what Diji is saying, I was going to say that after doing all of it also, I also still feel that kuch kiya hi nahi hai. So exposure,
Ah.
I think is,
And
I
that
don't know, it's
and that
endless.
hunger
Yeah.
is needed unless we feel
Yeah.
hungry, right? So that was one
True.
point. The second thing is that I feel that we feel we have to provide exposure for the kids. And I keep, Ratnesh will be giggling very soon. I keep asking, what are your exposures, new exposures that you have had as a learner? Because when we are practicing learning ourselves, the children around us invariably will see that I am seeking exposure for myself. Something that I don't know, I suddenly look at a headline in the newspaper, and I pick up my mobile and I start searching. And then I share about it with my wife, my daughter, my mother, whoever is ready to listen to me. The other day I was talking to the auto driver and my daughter got upset. Do you have to discuss everything new thing that you find with anybody you find? And I'm like, yeah, why not? Maybe that fellow has some good ideas, right? So what I'm trying to say here is that let's worry about our own exposures and what new things that we are doing, so that those around us, especially those who are ready to be impressed, pick up the clues and find their own exposures. It's their life. It's not our responsibility to enlighten anybody, right? But it is our responsibility to take care of ourselves. So just
Yeah,
those 2 points.
I agree to some extent, but it is also, isn't it our responsibility to provide the opportunity?
Okay, let's look at it in a different way, Sindhu. Is it possible for you to not provide an opportunity?
Not really.
Yeah, is it possible? Yeah, is it just in today's world, is it even possible? In fact, I would say children are super overexposed. And especially if you like exposure, please bring them to open learning, because in open learning, so they are maha exposed, because they have all the time in the world. And they're not going to sit in one place and say, I'm going to do, meditation 24 hours by 7. No, they're going to run everywhere, do all kinds of things, dip into their fingers into all kinds of messy stuff. Just like a little child, we had Namrata, who is here in this call, a few weeks back at campus, and her daughter who just turned 1, had just started to learn how to walk, and suddenly she was all over the place, exploring every single thing right around her. And I said, wow, so children really need to only learn how to walk, then their exposure multiplies. And then they learn how to talk, and then their exposure multiplies. And they learn how to do everything, and then it's like million times exposure. So there is, I would say, that is the beauty of open learning. There is such a vast exposure, but we don't need to design it thinking ki abhi we have to expose them to A and then to B and then to C and then to D. No, no, no. We'll take the fun out of living. Just to give you an example, we never exposed our son to ABCD. So he grew up as an 8-year-old without knowing ABCD. If you would have asked him what comes after F, he would not know. He would wonder what kind of a question is this. I mean, nothing comes after F. F is just a letter. Why would anything come after it? Right? Actually, yes, nothing comes after it. Somebody has put them in some random order and called it as an alphabet. Right? It's a really random thing. You can put them in any order, they will still remain. Their functionality will still remain in the language. The functionality is not because of F being whatever, I don't know, which is, sorry, 6th letter, I think. I don't know, sorry, I forgot. Whatever number of letters. So you get my point. So, so what is it that the child needs to be exposed to? He will find out. You don't have to, you cannot not expose your child to your mother tongue, right? And the language around. Let's say English. You can't help it. Even a biscuit packet has English all over it, right? So the child will ask, what is written here? What does these letters mean, right? It is tasty. I want to know what's written here. So I would say, enjoy this whole journey without trying to, we don't have to mechanically or even structurally try to create these exposure. I think they just happen very naturally, provided we are ready to, as Preeti was saying, stop our car, literally the life's car, at wherever we want to enjoy and go and learn about or explore whatever we want to. Like how Preeti and Pranav, when they go on road trips, they will stop by from a watermelon farm and then click pictures and send it to us to make us feel envious about them. So I think that's what open learning is, and that's one of the biggest treasures it gives us.
Mhm. Yep, that's
But let it not be a design. I mean, okay, I'm not saying don't design, but design as per your wish, like how Vijay was saying, rather than trying to tick off some list that somebody has made.
so that's why learning for the parent is needed.
Or rather, unlearning is needed. We have to
Yeah.
unlearn all of this.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. A little bit of unlearning is not needed. It will automatically happen. If you're an open learning family, you will soon be unlearning automatically again, not by design. It will happen. You can't escape that.
And I think the more you will try to capture exposure, ki abhi ye bhi karna hai, wo bhi karna hai, the more you will feel ki, oh, I'm not able to do anything, like that kind of, I feel that way. Ki the more you try to grab something, it goes out of your hand. So it's just that ki enjoy everything. Everything is exposure.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Thank you, everyone. Like that was very informative for me.
Okay, there's a lot of people, so we can have more discussion, more thoughts. And if you have done the quiz, we are also floated a quiz yesterday and today. So, and if you want to discuss anything from there, you can let me know. I can pull it up on the screen. But that's only for people who have gone through the quiz. That's only then the fun really starts. For those who have not gone through the quiz, that's okay. You can go through it later and we can have more discussions. We are there many of the Saturdays, the first, third, and fifth Saturdays of every month. So no issues with that. Yeah, but we can talk about literally anything. We have more people who have joined. We have Gunja Srivastava. Is it Sindhu joined from 2 devices, or we have 2 Sindhus today? I don't know. Right. We have Kuladeep, Somnath. You can please unmute and start talking, sharing. If you can
I
come on
joined from
video,
only
that
one
would be
viewers.
nice.
Probably
Okay,
it's
so
another
we have two
sim.
Sindhus. Super,
Yes, I have joined for one design.
super. So more people can join, if possible, on video. Then we feel like it's a meetup. Otherwise, it's me, Preeti, Dwiji. We meet every Saturday. So like the same
Yeah,
old
and then
idiots.
there will be only one Sindhu. I mean, we will identify each Sindhu separately if you turn on your videos.
Yes.
But not that we expect you to, but you're welcome to.
Yeah.
And also, just that there are a bunch of recordings. Yeah, please, Karthik, go ahead. I thought, Karthik, you unmuted. So please go ahead. Okay, I was just mentioning that there are a bunch of recordings of earlier sessions that you can also browse through in case you haven't seen them already. That's available on the website. And there's a whole bunch of other resources, open learning resources, articles, audio, video, probably some games also. I don't remember if we have put any games there. Have we, Ratnesh? Maybe we should, no?
Not yet. Maybe we
Yeah.
should. We should play some games in these meetups also.
Oh yeah, that's also true. That's also good. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, please feel free to unmute yourself, or if you would prefer typing in the chat window, you're welcome to do that as well. And I think between us, we can cover some 4 or 5 languages. So language shouldn't be an issue either. Yeah.
I have a question. So, how do we deal as parents with the feeling all the time if we are feeling that okay, my child is kind of killing the time and my child is not doing enough. My child is not focusing on what he or she is interested in. He or she is interested in definitely, but not focusing enough how much whatsoever the child can do, the capacity the child has, but he or she is not doing enough. So then how do we as parents calm down ourselves?
I like this, calm down. So Preeti, since you are interested in calming down, you'd realize that your child is not interested in focusing right now. Did that make sense? You said that she has many interests, but not focusing enough. So maybe she's not interested in focusing enough. She's just interested in exploring things. What's the hurry to focus? If she is not, if she's wanting to focus and not able to, I'm sure she will connect with you and say, I'm not feeling good about my day or week or myself, and I'm just. But if she's in general having, doing a lot of different things, whatever she likes doing, including whiling away time.
So what about if we get over concerned about whiling away of time? If a parent is overly like what do you say, ambitious or very time like very feels that time is very precious, it shouldn't just move out
So
of their
I
hand.
would like to answer this in a slightly different way. I mean, I would like to say, let's say that I am anxious about the way my boss is working in the office, let's say, or my mother is behaving, or how my mother is doing things, let's say. How would I do? What would I do? Right? The reason I'm asking this is when we think of children, we invariably think from a perspective, or the respect for the individual invariably is set aside or thrown out of the window, and we become, you are not doing this, you should do this, why aren't you doing this? Is that the way I would talk to my mother, or is that the way I would talk to my boss
My spouse.
or my spouse? Right? So
Lovely
the
thought,
reason I'm
Gigi.
asking that is that these anxieties are not just with our children. Sometimes it's with ourselves, sometimes it's with, I mean, I might be going in a bus and I might not like the way the driver is driving. So will I shout at him, or will I go tell him, boss, I have a back problem, please go a little slowly on speed breakers, right? Don't jump the bus around like you're driving a go-kart or something, right? So so I'll try different things, and that's exactly what you do when you have certain anxieties with regard to your children. You speak with some respect for the individual and express your concerns and sit with them and understand what's happening and how they might want us to help or may not want us to help, or maybe they just want to share something. Something might be bothering them. Maybe it's about me itself that it's bothering my daughter, right? So the idea that I'm sharing here is that if we are anxious about someone, it's because we care about them, right? And that's great. Now, how do we respond to that? What do we do after that is where we have to decide. And I'm saying, treat the other person with respect, try to understand their position, and then with an open mind, learn what's happening in their mind, in their life, and see what can be done about it. So I don't think there is a specific, I mean, of course, there's this super line that I used to parrot a lot, but say a lot because I find it very useful. It's called dial the child. Remember, Ratnesh, I used to come back to dial the child so much. So this whole
Absolutely.
thing about, yeah, go ahead.
No. Please continue.
Yeah, just that you dial the child and say, hello, hey, how are you? What's happening? Right? Rather than saying, hey, why did you do this? Right? So, yeah.
I'm just trying to summarize your thought in the chat. Lovely thoughts, Gigi. I just want to emphasize that this has got nothing to do with open learning. The question, I think, is more a parenting kind of question, because this can be in any field, at any time with anybody. It's got really...
Well, Ratnesh, you chose a semi-parenting kind of topic for a day. Parents' role in open learning.
Sure. No, it's important. So I'm just bringing that aspect, that it's applicable to all, but it's important to open learning, in open learning or in unschooling, homeschooling, because a lot of us as parents start thinking, just because we have taken this idea of living our life rather than educating our child, they're quite different. So since we have taken the decision of living our life, we feel we are now responsible. But while I was in my presentation at the beginning only saying, no, living our life all the more means that now the child is responsible, rather than educating, the child.
Yeah,
So,
just Ratesh, if you don't mind,
go ahead.
just staying back at that same thought. Now, when we are going through such an exercise of learning how to express our anxieties, who's the learner? Who's the learner? Is it the child who's the learner? Or is it that we are learning how to be better ourselves? better communicators, right? So this idea of pursuing our own learning journey invariably will rub on. It invariably does. I mean, you just keep doing this in front of an unknown person, some habit that you have, just do it in front of some unknown person, and next time that person is near you, they will do that same thing that you are doing. Do this as a social psychology experiment. and yeah, I mean, I have done this. I very rarely do I comb my hair, but I always have a comb with me because I travel quite a bit. So there was this bus conductor who I saw never used to comb his hair. So every time I got onto the bus, I would take out my comb and comb whenever he came to get the ticket from me. And after a few months, I started seeing that he would do that.
Which is in full
So,
flow. Lovely.
learning is contagious. Actions, I mean, that's human nature, that's animal nature. So yeah, just pursue your own learning journey. So you're not trying to teach your child to be focused. You're just learning how to communicate your anxiety. And maybe that's what the child needed. How do I communicate my anxieties as a learner? So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. When I think of myself as a, being a learner, usually I used to deal with this adolescents, means, this engineering going students. So when I teach to them, it's quite a bit of, content which is already been there and it is already structured. And the way we approach is that, either giving a demonstration in a laboratory of the same content, or something else, the content, the theory which is already in there. So not beyond any such sort of derivation. So I got used to the way of, that way of teaching and all. So when it comes to start teaching to my girl, so exactly the very, when she is below 7 or 8, she used to ask me a lot of questions, and I just used to, see the textbook and, give the answers in my own way. She feels that, something different from teacher, I don't know, because I am not going to see what her teacher is going to say about the same topic, but I'll teach it in my own way. She will feel like, okay, daddy, understood, like that, she'll say. And the next day onwards, she'll try to, use the same method as her teacher, teaches in the school. I'm asking why you are doing the same. You have got different ways to do the same math. I mean, the same problem also. And she says, no, daddy, I may lose marks. Like that, she started saying. And I feel like, how to deal with this kind of questions. And when it comes to some, even now, when she's in grade 7 now, this very frequently I started thinking of, how to change the, the way I teach to these kind of people. I mean, and to my children especially. And when I started searching around, just thinking any other possibility of tuitions and all, I started searching inside internet and all. Then I came across this open learning. I just thought it is something like, in a school which is open for admissions and, uh, start learning from home and all. Yeah, still I feel like, how to learn to teach that kind of, mindset, I mean, children's. Even I feel that that's a little difficult for me. And just trying to find out the sort of materials, any available, any structures are there, just to, understand how to teach them and all. I think it's altogether a different perspective to deal with kind of the students. So how can I start over for my daughter? And for my son, it is totally again a new different chapter. He, before he start doing anything, he'll start asking. He'll deny to do homework most of the times, and he'll run here and there. Yeah, it's I mean, very difficult for father to control. Only moms will control him. Mom will control him. That is why. Yeah. still I feel like when I open my book, when I open her book to teach something about, which is there in the social textbook or science textbook, I feel the same. How to deliver it in a different manner, or is there any altogether a different approach to teach them, or should I have to teach them, or is there any way to learn by themselves? Like that, I'm just still thinking and hanged over there itself. Yeah, that's it.
So, Kuldeep, one analogy that I often give to people, that if you find a treasure chest full of treasures, you open it and you see, wow, there's so many treasures. Would you worry about taking out your treasure and putting in it? Or would you say, wow, now let me take some out of it? At least I would think like that. Let me take some out of it. Why would I put my treasures into the chest? The treasure chest is already full, or full of treasures, or rather overflowing with treasures. So that's my analogy, which I share, is if we look at child, to me, every child, whether a 1-year-old, whether a 5-year-old, they're full of treasures, all kinds of treasures. And because they're full of treasures, why do I need to put any treasures into it, right? I would rather take it out. So why would I fill them up? I would ask them to give it to me, their treasures, either by sharing with me, or doing with me, or playing with me, or advising me, or guiding me, or teaching me, whatever. The more they, or showing me, performing for me, as in personal audience, anything, there's no limit. And finally, that me becomes important. The treasure chest itself is good enough. They don't need to do anything for me, because they're themselves full of it. That's the way we have found all the children. Maybe I don't have any exceptions at all. In my last, 21 years of working with children, roughly, if I just want to impress you with numbers, at least 16,000 children I've worked with, and I've yet to find an exception to that. So when I look at it in this way, then there is no hurry to put anything. But yeah, I can enjoy those treasures, and that is where I can invite them to share those beautiful treasures with us in different forms, obviously. And not just shares with us, share it with the world. So that is why Preeti is running a learning carnival, where she's asking children to conduct workshops for everybody else, including people like Kuldeep. So Kuldeep, if you want to learn from children, they are going to conduct workshop by end of this month. This whole month, they are going to prepare October. End of October, they are going to conduct. Please learn from them. Pay and learn from them. It's not free. And they will each teach what they like to teach, what they really are interested in.
Sure.
Does screens play any role in open learning? What is the role of screens, or the media?
So Sindhu, there's a person called Peter Gray. I don't know if you've heard about him. He's done a lot of work in understanding how, right from prehistoric generation to current generation, how people have been learning. So his focus area is to understand historically how learning has been happening, including today's day. And one of the terms he uses, which I quite like, the term, is that the tools of the culture. So everybody uses whatever are the tools of the culture. Does the term sound makes any sense? The tools of the culture. So he says, if you go to a tribal village, their tools might be different. If you go to a fishing town, their tools will be different. If you go to a hilly area, Ladakh, or their tools will be different. And if you come to Bangalore, their tools will be different, at least some of them. So when you say screen, to me, it's just a tool of our culture, right? And that's it. There's nothing more or less to it. And now, how one uses tool, for what purpose one uses the tools of the culture, that's it. That will vary from individual to individual, even day to day, week to week. So, and that is the modern tool of culture, the so-called screen, and this so-called connectedness with the whole world. So it's just a tool. I don't know why we need to even think about it in any other way.
Got it.
So Peter Gray says, let the children play with the tools of the culture. And somehow I like that line.
Hello, I'm Teresa.
Yes, Teresa.
Yes, my child is 11 years old. He goes to a regular school, but he enjoys everything else, but he doesn't want to read and write. Still, he's not started writing. His notebooks are all empty still. So what should I do as a parent? How can I help him?
So Teresa, in what area do you want to help him? Do you want him to help him to start writing, in which case you're not helping him, you're helping your own expectation. And if you want to help him feel good about himself, that I don't need to write in this world, I can live without writing, and I'm good enough, then you can help him in many different ways by talking to him and accepting him. So we need to be clear when we say helping, in what area are we helping? Or whom are we helping?
Actually, now from this year, he'll be having, he's having exams. So when he's not going to write anything, he won't get any marks. So it will lower his self-esteem. So I want to help him in that way. Like if he should be able to focus on his studies. His attention span is just 10 minutes. After that, he cannot sit in one place. So he has this ADHD problem also. So that's why I wanted to know what can be done with a child like this.
I'm still with the same question. So what are we trying to do? Our expectations for the child? Whom are you with? Is my question. Are we with our own expectations, or are we with the child's way of doing things? In a sense, are we with the child, or are we with our thoughts, our views of the world? If you are saying he would have difficulty giving the examination, so my question would be, why ask him to give examinations? What is the necessity of it? There is no necessity. Yes, that's an option. I'm not saying it is not an option, but there is no necessity. My both children have never given any examination. My daughter has only given one examination in her life, and that's the driving test. She's 25 now.
Okay. So, Acha, means I wanted to know that what can be done. What will his future be like this if he's not be able to give exams?
No, it's not a question of he should be able to give exam. The question is he should be allowed to decide whether he wants to give exams or not. Just to say, for example, have you, let's say, gone deep sea diving?
No.
No, why? Why haven't you done that?
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
If whether you're scared of it or whether you're not interested in it is the same thing. If you don't want it, if you're scared of it, if you don't like it, just don't do it. Nobody is trying to tell you you are any less, you're failed or you have not appeared for this examination called deep sea diving. Now you might say that's not important in life. I will say, so what is important in life? Whatever is important to the child is important in life. And he can be into whatever. Let's say if I want to play music, or I may want to make buildings, or I may want to, whatever. Yeah. I can do 100,000 different things. And it's not that he will not learn how to write or read or write or whatever. He may do it whenever he wants to do it. The point is not that he will not do it. The point is not that you can't go deep diving. You will go deep diving when you want to do it. Then that time there's nothing to stop, nobody to stop you from doing it and learning it and overcoming your own fears of, let's say, deep sea.
Mhm.
In
Yeah.
much the same way, he may, I'm just saying he may, if he wants to, if he feels he has a need to. If he feels that he can get about without doing it, then that's
Yeah.
absolutely fine. I have a story. It sounds a little, it's more like a Reader Digest story, but anyway, I will share the story with you.
Yeah.
So there's this billionaire, who has big business, and he's being interviewed. So somebody asks him, "Sir, you are such a big person. You have so much money, but you don't know how to write. How is that? Meaning, don't you feel if you knew how to write, you could be an even bigger billionaire?" As if there is something called as bigger. So he says, "Wait, I'll tell you. When I was a little boy, I was an orphan. So I was employed in a church, and my job was to ring bells. So I used to stay in the church, eat in the church, and ring bells. And then what happened? The church passed a rule that anybody who's employed in the church has to be 10th passed. And because I did not have any education, I was kicked out of the church. So I lost my job. So what did I do? I had nothing to do. So a shopkeeper told me that if you buy the buns from the other town and bring them for me, because those buns are very good, I will give you some money." So he started doing that for the baker, and then he started doing for multiple bakers, and then he started doing for multiple things. And as the story goes, rags to riches, he became a billionaire over the next 20, 30 years. So he says, "Dear, if I was educated, you know what I would have been doing? I would have been ringing bells."
Bells. Yeah, correct. Okay.
Okay, I'm not, obviously it's just a story. It's just a
Yeah.
story to illustrate that it is not about education, but it's about what one wants to do. And if
Yeah.
one invests in that, then there is nothing to stop us from succeeding in whichever way we want to succeed. I'm not saying everybody has to have money only, big amounts to succeed. People can succeed in many different ways.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, I even go to the extent and say to people, oh, if you don't know anything else, let's do farming. That's awesome. That's fun. And you get good, fresh food. Right?
Yeah.
That's one
Yeah, he
requirement we all
enjoys-
have.
Actually, my child, he enjoys everything. He loves to do farming. We have a farm. So he's
Absolutely.
interested
There you
in
go.
that. Yeah.
Yes.
Means
And
everything
you
else he
don't,
enjoys.
and you don't need
Now-
writing for that.
Yeah.
Trees and plants don't really know that.
Yeah, correct. So, okay. Thank you so much.
And I just want to say it again, that does not mean that he will not get into writing. Please don't assume that. He would,
Yeah.
if he wants to, and as and when he discovers, at whatever age, it doesn't matter. Everybody doesn't need to learn how to write at a particular age.
Okay.
Hello.
Yes, please.
Can you hear me, sir? Ratnesh, sir?
Yeah. You can just call me Ratnesh, not sir and all. Yes,
Okay,
please
sir.
go ahead. Please go.
Okay, may I ask in Hindi?
For
मैं
sure,
हिंदी
there are
में बात
many
कर-
people who know Hindi, especially Shakila knows very good Hindi.
ओके ओके तो सर ये मेरे लिए बहुत नया ही सा कॉन्सेप्ट है मुझे ये भी नहीं पता शायद आप सब टीचर्स हैं या क्या है तो मैं ये पूछना चाह रही हूँ कि मैं होम स्कूलिंग बच्चे की करती हूँ हरियाणा से हूँ मैं और यहाँ पे मोंटेसरी का कॉन्सेप्ट बिल्कुल भी नहीं है थैंक यू तो मोंटेसरी भी पढ़ाते हैं क्या वहाँ पर ये क्या कॉन्सेप्ट है मतलब मुझे समझ नहीं आया आरोही ओपन लर्निंग ये नेम्स मतलब ऐसा लग रहा है जैसे डिफरेंट प्लैनेट्स से कुछ बात कर रही हूँ कुछ अलग ही अभी जैसे आपने बताया कि आपकी बेटी ने कभी एग्जाम ही नहीं दिया स्कूलिंग ऐसा कुछ वो कैसे हो रहा है
माता जी
You are
आप ही
supposed to-
बताएं
Shakila is supposed to answer this in Hindi.
I
Okay.
understood it, but not
Right. Okay, so I was joking with Shakila, Kainat, because Shakila ने अभी हिंदी सीखना शुरू किया है, जस्ट अभी, उसको हिंदी बिल्कुल नहीं आती, इसलिए मैं उसको बोल रहा था कि आपको हिंदी में बताए.
ओके
सो मैं सिर्फ एक बात कहना चाहूंगा, अगर आप मॉन्टेसरी सिस्टम जानते हैं तो मरिया मॉन्टेसरी को जानते हैं, तो मरिया मॉन्टेसरी ने एक बात बहुत क्लियर बोली थी कि बच्चे को लीड करने दें. दैट इज व्हाट आई हैव लर्न फ्रॉम मरिया मॉन्टेसरी. हमने सीखा है मरिया मॉन्टेसरी की कैसे हम बच्चा हमें दिखाएगा उसको क्या सीखना है, हम क्यों उसको दिखाएं कि उसको क्या सीखना है, वो हमें दिखाएगा कि उसको क्या सीखने का मन है. उसको दौड़ना पसंद है कि उसको बनाना पसंद है, कि उसको क्रोशे पसंद है, उसको क्या पसंद है, म्यूजिक डांस करना पसंद है, उसको क्या पसंद है, वो हमें बताएगा. तो अगर आप बोलते हो कि मॉन्टेसरी मेथड है क्या, मेथड तो मुझे मालूम नहीं, बट अगर मरिया मॉन्टेसरी की मैं बात ध्यान से सुनूं, उनकी किताबें पढूं, तो मुझे एक चीज समझ में आती है जो उन्होंने थ्रू आउट बोली अपनी सारी किताबों में, सारी बातों में, कि चाइल्ड इज द लीडर. बच्चा खुद को लीड करेगा अगर हम रेडी हैं उसको ऑब्जर्व करने में, उसको समझने में. If you are ready to observe and let the child lead us, that is what to me is what I have, what is Montessori education. I'm not going by any method system. What Maria Montessori said. I'm not getting into the schools part. So we are not a Montessori school, if that is what you are asking. हम Montessori school नहीं है, हम तो school ही नहीं है, लेकिन हम Maria Montessori की बातों से बहुत सहमति में हैं. हमारे लिए जो वो बोल रही थी उस टाइम पे, वो एकदम बहुत ही सुंदर बातें वो बोल के गई हैं, क्योंकि उन्होंने बच्चों को बहुत ध्यान से देखा है. शी वॉज अ ग्रेट ऑब्जर्वर, और उन्होंने शी रियली ऑब्जर्व्ड एंड पुट इट आउट फॉर ऑल ऑफ अस टू लर्न फ्रॉम हर काउंटलेस ऑब्जर्वेशंस ऑफ चिल्ड्रन.
तो एक्सपोजर के बिना सर हम कैसे देख पाएंगे खुद भी ऑब्जर्व करके कि बच्चा क्या सीखना चाह रहा है?
जब आप थोड़ा लेट हो गए, शुरुआत का हमारा आधे घंटे का डिस्कशन एक्सपोजर पे ही था.
ओके ओके
आज का 5 से 5:30 तक हम एक्सपोजर की बात कर रहे थे. सो अगर मैं ब्रीफ में बोलना चाहूंगा तो एक्सपोजर की कोई जरूरत नहीं है. एक्सपोजर अपने आप होता है, क्योंकि जिंदगी हम बिना एक्सपोजर के जी नहीं पाते. कहीं भी जाते हैं कुछ ना कुछ नया होता रहता है. आप सर ऊपर उठाइए, आकाश में नया होगा, सर ना के नीचे करिए तो जमीन पे कुछ नया होगा, और अगर लोगों से मिलिए तो कुछ लोग नया. सो देयर इज एक्सपोजर की कोई कमी नहीं है, चाहे आप हरियाणा में हैं, चाहे आप मुंबई में हैं, कहीं भी हैं.
हम तो बड़ा लिमिटेड सा मीनिंग समझते हैं एक्सपोजर का, कि कभी स्पोर्ट्स में एनरोल करा दिया, मतलब एक स्पोर्ट्स दिखा दिया, वो एक्सपोज करा दिया.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल. कल ही एक बच्चा, हम लोग थोड़ा उसके बारे में वी वर डिस्कसिंग अबाउट हीट, तो अ चाइल्ड सेड दैट वो ऐसे करते हैं, अगर आप मेरा वीडियो देख पा रहे, ऐसे करते हैं तो हवा ठंडी आती है, ऐसे करते हैं तो हवा गर्म आती है. तो आई सेड एक्सपोजर, साइंस लैब तो हमारे मुंह में ही बसा है. Science is right there with us. We don't need to go to a lab. If we can understand this little difference of just the mouth play can make so much of a temperature difference, then we can understand the whole thermodynamics. और उसके लिए हमें कहीं नहीं जाने की जरूरत, किसी एक्सपोजर की नहीं जरूरत. Right? So that is the beauty of learning. It is there right in front of our eyes, our mouth, right there. There is no need to expose anything. आप समझी मेरी बात को? कि
मैं समझ पा रही हूँ. तो ये जॉइन
आप एक्सपोजर की चिंता मत कीजिए, आप जिंदगी एंजॉय करिए, अपने आप एक्सपोजर इनफ आ जाएगा. जो आपको अच्छा लगता है आप वो एंजॉय करिए, जो आपके बच्चों को अच्छा लगता है वो उनको एंजॉय करने दीजिए. आप लोग सब एज अ फैमिली खूब एंजॉय करिए लाइफ. मरते दम में यही याद रहेगा कि हमने क्या एंजॉय किया, ये नहीं याद रहेगा कि कहाँ कहाँ एक्सपोजर किया था. सॉरी, थोड़ा फिलोसफिकल हो गया.
अगर मैं पर्सनली पूछूं तो आप अपनी बेटी के क्या एकेडमिकली उन्होंने कैसे क्या किया बताएंगे विदाउट एग्जाम्स?
कुछ भी nothing. She has only done things which she liked doing. उसने वो किया जो उसको अच्छा लगता है, और वो अभी भी वो कर रही है जो उसको अच्छा लग रहा है. वो अपना बिजनेस भी चलाती है
तो अच्छा
क्योंकि वो
लगने
उसको अच्छा लगता है. हाँ, sorry. So I'm also translating in English for others if anybody
ये
does not.
पूछना चाहूँ
Yeah, 1 minute. I'll just translate it in English also. So if you're asking for me about my daughter, she's doing exactly what she likes doing. Even now she's 25, and whatever she likes doing, she does that. And she runs a business, but she's not afraid of closing down her business for 8 months, restarting, then again doing it for 2-3 years, then again closing it down for 8 months. Why closing it down for 8 months? Because she felt she wants to do something else also. Can you believe it? She has a flourishing business. She stops it, starts after a year, again does it for 2-3 years, again stops it, again starts it, and so on, because she wants to enjoy doing things that she likes doing.
ओके
Somebody was asking about focus. उसका focus क्या है? उसका focus is on living life. हाँ, आप कुछ और भी पूछ रहे थे, प्लीज. मैंने आपको रोक
ये
दिया.
पूछी थी हाँ जी कि ये ज्वाइन करने के लिए ऑनलाइन क्लासेस होती हैं क्या?
प्रीति, अब आपकी बारी है, हिंदी में.
मैं ओके, सो ऑनलाइन क्लासेस नहीं होती हैं. हम ऑनलाइन मिलते हैं और ऑनलाइन मिल के
प्रीति, sorry, just 1 minute.
कैरी ऑन.
कायनाथ जी, ये स्कूल नहीं है तो क्लासेस नहीं होंगे. अभी प्रीति आगे बढ़ाइए.
ओके
तो ये स्कूल नहीं है, ये कम्युनिटी है, कम्युनिटी ऑफ फैमिलीज. आपकी फैमिली, हमारी फैमिली, सबकी फैमिली मिल के हम साथ में आते हैं और हम साथ में मिल के चीजें करते हैं. अपने अपने इंटरेस्ट, अपने अपने मन से जो जिसको जो पसंद है करना वो करते हैं. तो उसके लिए आरोही कैंपस है, बैंगलोर से 60 किलोमीटर दूर कैंपस है, रेजिडेंशियल कैंपस है. वहाँ हम सब जाके रह सकते हैं. वहाँ हम जाके बहुत सारी एक्टिविटीज हम अपने मन से जो हमें पसंद है वो हम कर सकते हैं. उसके अलावा दैट इज एक तरीका है वो आरोही का कि एक कैंपस है. उसके अलावा ऑनलाइन जो लोग नहीं पहुंच सकते हैं, बैंगलोर 60 किलोमीटर फ्रॉम बैंगलोर, वहां तक कैंपस तक नहीं पहुंच सकते हैं और घर से ही आरोही और या ओपन लर्निंग करना चाहते हैं, उनके लिए भी हम एज अ कम्युनिटी सपोर्ट है. और जैसे मैं खुद मुंबई में हूँ और मैं आरोही के साथ 3.5 years के साथ हूँ. एंड मुझे कभी भी फील नहीं हुआ कि मैं बैंगलोर मेरे से दूर है या फिर कम्युनिटी मेरे से दूर है, उसके लोग मेरे से दूर है. तो मैं बहुत ज्यादा कनेक्टेड हूँ फुल्ली. मतलब एवरी डे हम सब मिलते रहते हैं किसी ना किसी रीजन से, किसी ना किसी पर्पस से. हम एक दूसरे की लर्निंग जर्नीज को शेयर करते हैं, हम एक दूसरे के बारे में डिस्कस करते हैं, कौन क्या कर रहा है, कौन कैसे कर रहा है. तो ऑल ऑफ दैट हम सब कुछ बातें करते हैं, बहुत सारा को क्रिएशन करते हैं, कुछ नए नए थॉट्स आते हैं, नए नए आइडियाज आते हैं. अभी रत्नेश ने शेयर किया कि लर्निंग कार्निवल है विच इज बाय द एंड ऑफ अक्टूबर. तो उसका हम उसमें बच्चे बिलो 18 years ऑफ किड्स, वो सारे बच्चे बड़ों को और छोटों को हर एज ग्रुप को सिखाएंगे और उनका
तो प्रीति, आप झूठ बोल रहे थे कि क्लासेस नहीं होती. क्लासेस होती हैं, लेकिन कोई भी किसी को सिखा सकता है.
हाँ,
कोई भी किसी को सिखा सकता है कुछ भी. एज से कोई नहीं है, कोई सब टीचर हैं, सब
और
स्टूडेंट हैं.
टॉपिक से भी कुछ ये नहीं है.
हाँ, और
लाइक
सब
कोई
सबको डांट
टॉपिक
सकते हैं.
डिसाइडेड. हाँ, मैं भी रत्नेश को डांट सकती हूँ और मुझे भी एक 5 साल का बच्चा भी डांट सकता है और डांटते भी है.
चाइल्ड की वहाँ होती है बेंगलोर में कम्युनिटी कैंपस में.
मिनिमम एज ग्रुप तो अभी तो हम यही कह रहे हैं कि 0 to 99 एज ग्रुप है so, सब मिनिमम और मैक्सिमम उसी के अंदर है सो
करेक्ट करेक्ट। जब आप 100 साल के हो जाएं तो दोबारा अप्लाई करना पड़ेगा।
तो रेजिडेंशियल अगर करना चाहे तो अब मैं वही ऑफिशियल स्कूल लैंग्वेज फी स्ट्रक्चर कैसा है, मतलब कैसा है वहां रहने का अगर हमारा बनेगा पॉसिबल?
हाँ, पहले आप 1 हफ्ते के लिए यहाँ रहने आइए फैमिली के साथ और एक्सपीरियंस करिए ये जगह को, और ओपन लर्निंग को मोस्ट इम्पोर्टेंटली देखिए कैसे साहब। और जब आप आएंगे यहाँ 1 हफ्ते के लिए, व्हेन यू कम फॉर अ वीक स्टे, यू डोंट कम एज अ पेरेंट। आप पेरेंट की तरह नहीं आएंगे, आप भी एक लर्नर की तरह आएंगे। एंड एवरी अदर मेंबर इन द फैमिली, सब फैमिली मेंबर्स लर्नर्स की तरह आएंगे। कोई भी यहाँ पेरेंट नहीं है, कोई भी यहाँ चाइल्ड नहीं है, सब लर्नर्स हैं। तो आप आइए, 1 हफ्ता एक्सपीरियंस करिए प्लीज। एवरीबडी इज इनवाइटेड फॉर अ वीक स्टे। हमारी वेबसाइट पे मैं लिंक भी डालता हूँ। हमारी वेबसाइट पे एक कैलेंडर है, उसमें ऑप्शंस हैं व्हेन यू कैन कम, उसमें आप आइए, उसके बाद आगे का सोचिएगा। लेकिन 1 हफ्ते आप एक्सपीरियंस करिए पहले। दैट्स वन ऑफ द ways in which we feel you can understand open learning the best, when you experience it rather than we kind of talking about it. So yeah.
और यू नो कायनात अभी ये सब में क्या हो गया, शकीला का
Wait,
क्लास
wait,
लग गया।
एक मिनट।
शकीला का हिंदी क्लास है।
I was thinking of inviting either Namrata, who visited recently. Namrata, आप तो हिंदी जानते हैं, आप बोल सकते हैं। Anju anyways part of community. Who else? Who else? You can just share your experience if you can come on mic and just share, so that people get the idea that how important it is to come and experience it rather than talking about it.
एब्सोल्युटली, रत्नेश जी जो बोल रहे हैं वो एकदम सही है। मुझे भी इतनी ही क्वेरीज थी मैं आरोही पहुंचने से पहले कि होता क्या है, बट जो स्लाइड बताई थी रत्नेश जी ने इनिशियली, फ्रीडम विथ रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी, इसका फुलेस्ट पोटेंशियल क्या होता है, उसका फुलेस्ट यूटिलाइजेशन क्या होता है, विथ फ्रीडम ओपन लर्निंग कैसे होता है, वहां जाके बहुत सारे ऐसे टक 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 ये नहीं खुल जाते क्या, दिमाग के बत्ती जल जाती है, वैसे बहुत सारी बत्तियां जली। तो मुझे लगता है कि 8 दिन तो बहुत ही कम है, बट हाँ 8 दिन में आपको एक ग्लिम्स मिल सकता है कि ओपन लर्निंग एग्जैक्टली आरोही में कैसा होता है। और डेफिनेटली मुझे लगता है अगर हम कम्युनिटी ज्वाइन करते तो उसका बेनिफिट हमें हमारे घर से भी मिलेगा। तो मेरा एक्सपीरियंस बहुत सुंदर था। जो हमारा कंसेप्ट होता है जनरली कि कुछ भी नहीं करना है, बट कुछ भी नहीं करने में कितना सारा लर्निंग होता है ये हम कई बार भूल जाते हैं, उसका रियलाइजेशन वहाँ आसानी से हो जाता है।
ओके,
थैंक यू नम्रता। एंड नम्रता अपने 1 साल के बच्चे के साथ और 9 साल के बच्चे के साथ आई थी, 2 बच्चों के साथ।
हाँ, और मेरे लिए सबसे बड़ा लर्निंग था क्योंकि पहले 2 दिन तो मुझे खुद को सेटल होने में चले गए, रोना धोना हुआ, सब हुआ, और उसके बाद जो मैंने पिकअप किया और जो ब्यूटीफुल जर्नी था, मैं निकलते समय भी रोई थी।
और सबसे ज्यादा मैंने एटलीस्ट लर्न किया 1 साल की मुस्कान से, जो उनकी बेटी है, उससे इतनी लर्निंग्स मिली उसको ऑब्जर्व करने में।
तो वहाँ क्या बच्चों को एज अ हॉस्टल मतलब छोड़ा भी जा सकता है विदाउट पेरेंट्स, विदाउट एज अ लर्नर?
है ना?
ये तो
अभी
मैं
और
बोलूंगा।
सॉरी तुझे, गो अहेड।
इसका जवाब तो मैं दूंगा। हाँ बिल्कुल छोड़ सकते हैं, मगर ये भी मान के चलिए कि आप भी वहां रख सकते हैं, और वहां पे आपका बच्चा नहीं है, आप ही एक बच्चा हो, हम भी एक बच्चे हैं, सब बच्चे हैं। हाँ, मतलब ये है कि ये एक समुदाय है, ये एक स्कूल नहीं है, एक हॉस्टल नहीं है, ठीक है। वहां पे सब साथ में रहते हैं, खाना पकाते हैं, खाते हैं, हर एक का देखभाल करते हैं, है ना, खेलते हैं, कूदते हैं, लड़ते हैं, झगड़ते हैं, नाटक करते हैं, गाना गाते हैं, बहुत सारे चीजें करते हैं। तो बात ये है कि आरोही एक ऐसी जगह है जहां पे आप अपनी अपनी जो सीखने की एक प्रक्रिया है उस पे आप लगेंगे, आपके बच्चों पे नहीं।
ओके।
ठीक है, तो इसलिए रत्नेश जो बोल रहे थे वो बहुत अहम है कि आप कुछ दिन के लिए आके थोड़ा आजमाइए, तब पता चलेगा, नहीं तो दूसरी दुनिया ही लगेगी।
क्या हिंदी बोली आपने?
और एक और क्वेश्चन है, थोड़ा सा मेरे को YouTube वीडियोस देख के एक माइंड में बहुत डाउट सा है कि मैंने कुछ वीडियोस देखी हैं, उसमें थर्ड आई एक्टिवेशन, अगर आपने इसके बारे में सुना है, राइट ब्रेन एजुकेशन, जो हाई स्पीड पे फ्लैश कार्ड्स होते हैं उनके थ्रू करी जाती है, तो वो अगर नहीं होगी तो कुछ क्या मिसिंग रह जाता है क्या, तो राइट ब्रेन का भी यूज ही नहीं होता ब्रेन का?
अभी कायनाथ जी, ये रत्नेश पे कुछ देर पहले एक सवाल के जवाब में पूछ रहे थे कि आप समुंदर में डुबकी लगाने गए हैं कभी?
नहीं।
नहीं। उससे आपको कुछ चीजें सीखने को नहीं मिला ना, क्योंकि आपने समुद्र में डुबकी नहीं लगाया। हाँ, तो उसके लिए आप पछताते रहेंगे या सड़क कैसे पार करते हैं वो उसका देखेंगे?
सड़क कैसे
यानी
पार करते हैं, छोटा
है,
छोटा लेके चलेंगे।
मतलब ये है कि आप जब भी कुछ भी सोचे, किसी भी जगह पे हैं, बहुत सारे चीजें कर सकते हैं और बहुत सारे चीजें नहीं भी कर सकते, है ना? ऐसा नहीं है कि हमारी कोई सीमाएं नहीं बनती है, कभी भी हो कुछ ना कुछ सीमाएं बनती ही है ना? तो इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि हम अपनी सीमाओं को धकेलते हुए उसको बढ़ाएंगे नहीं, बिल्कुल बढ़ाएंगे, मगर उसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि जो हम पा नहीं सकते हैं या अगर हम कर नहीं पाए तो दुनिया बेकार हो गई या मेरी जीवन बेकार हो गई, ऐसे थोड़ी होगी ना। राइट ब्रेन, ऑल दीज थिंग्स आर इम्पोर्टेंट, ये सब बहुत अहम है, मगर ऐसा नहीं है कि वो अकेला एक तरीका है सीखने का, समझने का, रहने का, है ना? तो ये बात है। I'm sorry to everybody else, I have not been translating unlike the nice Ratnesh, but I'll let Ratnesh do the honors of translating if needed. Though I have been, to be fair, I've been repeating or reiterating some of the things that Ratnesh has already shared in English. So,
Yeah. So I kind of what you आप जो बोल रहे हैं are some methods. So you are talking about a certain set of methods. और मेथड तब चाहिए होता है जब हमें कोई कहीं पहुंचना है। आप कार में तभी जाएंगे आपको जब एक जगह से दूसरी जगह पहुंचना है, लेकिन आप जनरली तो कार में जाके नहीं बैठ जाएंगे। यू वोंट सिट इन योर कार अननेसेसरीली। सो इफ यू नो फ्यू मेथड्स, अगर आपको कुछ मेथड्स मालूम है, यूज देम व्हेन यू नीड देम। नॉट नेसेसरी दैट वी हैव टू लर्न एवरी मेथड इन दिस वर्ल्ड। हमें दुनिया के सारे मेथड नहीं लर्न करने हैं, हमें वो लर्न करना है। If you teach me with flashcards Chinese, but if I have to grow trees in my campus, उसका कोई फायदा नहीं है, even if I learn Chinese. आप समझ रहे हैं? So flashcard is a method, उससे हम चाइनीज भी सीख सकते हैं, लेकिन मेरे को जरूरत नहीं है चाइनीज सीखने की। आप समझ रहे हैं? लेकिन अगर मुझे कल चाइना जाना है 2 महीने के लिए, तो हो सकता है मैं फ्लैश कार्ड्स यूज करके फटाफट सीखने की कोशिश करूंगा चाइनीज। So it is to do, हम शादी के मेथड से नहीं शादी करते, हम लड़की से शादी करते हैं। Sorry, that's a bad joke. But it makes the point. Yeah, we still have about 7 minutes, so we can take few more questions, especially people who have not at all shared, and they must be thinking, what crazy bunch of people we have met today. So don't worry, we can be crazier than this. So you still have 7 more minutes to explore that. And there are many more meetups. Next Saturday, we'll probably have one of the families whom you can meet who will share their journey. So yeah. Please go ahead. You can still ask or share something in the next 7 minutes. So I've also put the link for if you want to come for a stay visit. Yeah, any more questions? The questions can be about Aarohi or open learning, or even the co-varsity part, which is for the older children, 13, 14 onwards, the teenagers. So anything, we can still take a couple of more questions.
Hello.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yes. My elder child is almost 13 plus now. So how to be a good parent, or how to be a friend to him, or how should we deal with a child who's going through this age?
So Dviji actually answered this very beautifully in the beginning. I don't know if you were there at that time.
No, actually, I joined a little late.
Right. He said a very simple thing. It's, I think you will miss it. It was there in the chat also. Is dial the child.
Okay.
What that means is, instead of asking us, you should ask him the same question. Whatever questions, 3 questions you asked us, all those 3 questions and many more that you have. Because let's not think of children as 13-year-olds or teenagers or chote bacche or small children or big children. There is nothing like that. They are each an individual, and they best know how we can connect with them and we best. So it's a dynamics between you and that child. And if you have 2 children, you will realize the dynamics will be totally different between child A, the older
Yeah, poles
sibling
apart.
and the younger sibling. Yes, poles apart, absolutely.
Yeah.
So please don't get caught up with that they are teenagers or they're younger or they're boy, they're girl, they have long hair, short hair. Please don't bother about any of those things. Like Vijay has long hair, very long hair, right? So he's showing off his hair now. So let's not get caught up with, again, these are just, they're just generalizations, and we don't live out of generalizations, right? Let's connect. Let's ask him. If I'm finding a difficulty connecting with Dviji, I'll ask Dviji, boss, how do I connect with you? Help me out. I want to connect with you. So that's as simple as that. I'm not saying it is as easy as that, in the sense he may say things which might be difficult for you to do. Then it's up to you how you do that. So nobody's saying any relationship is easy or difficult. Relationships are relationships. They go through all kinds of dynamism.
Yeah.
Perhaps the most important curriculum of life is relationships, at least as far as I know.
The same thing means in his studies also, like he is not interested. He wants to do everything else rather than studies. Means he'll say, I'll take a break and then I'll study. Like few days back, they had exams. Again, same thing. So I think we should stop bothering about the exams.
Or rather, you should start not bothering, but start being with the child. And if the child is going north, then we don't need to. Obviously, you will not bother about the south, not because the south is bad, not because exams or anything is bad. Maths is not bad. Doing theater is not bad. Doing crochet is not bad. All of these are good. It depends on which direction he is going. That's his direction, and we can go with him, or we can go in and push him and drag him to another direction. Then everything becomes troublesome.
Yeah. Actually, like we all think that studies or schooling is more important, most important. So this is what, like how we can make a difference in their life. Like we don't bother like what is about their marks, about like how others are going through the same thing, like others are studying, so should our child study or not study, or this?
Yeah. So very quickly, I'll give you an example of my son. He decided at around 14 that he wants to get into professional football. So for about 4.5 years, he just played football 7 days a week. Obviously, he's an open learner, so he had no school, no subjects, nothing, no education for that matter. It was only football, nothing else. And whatever else is related to football, like doing exercise and going running and all of those things, but nothing else, no other thing in his life for 4.5 years. And then one fine day, after 4.5 years, around 18, when he turned a little after 18, we were meeting in a restaurant, we were having a family lunch, and he says, I don't want to do football anymore. Now, what do we do? Do we say, no, go, you should do more, you have put in 4.5 years, now no, we said, okay, good. What is it that you want to go? So now suddenly he's not going south, he wants to go west. Good. Wherever you want to go, let's go. So now he's doing something totally else.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, the idea is, yes, that is, if he has, after 4.5 years, if he can come up to us and say, enough, I don't want to do it anymore, then he must be feeling it for a long time, and it must be really coming from inside him, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's what would I listen to? My mind, oh, he could have gone and become the greatest footballer. No, it is not about me at all. It is about him, his life.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So sorry. Okay, it's already 6:30. Sorry. Let's kind of end with that thought, that of being with the child and yeah, connecting with the child. I think dial the child, as Vijay was saying. Absolutely. And next Saturday, we'll have a guest family who would both parent and child is most probably be there if everything goes right. And you can the reason we bring one family is that we can in detail then understand, kind of interview them and understand with them their journey. Not that we have to copy anybody's journey, but when we hear different journeys, that really helps us understand ourselves. And obviously we can learn good things from everywhere. Yeah. So that's the same thing that happens when you come to the campus also. So yeah, looking forward to next Saturday also. So you can join, the link will remain the same. Yeah, till that time, you can also catch up on 150 plus recordings of the various meetups we have done over the last 3 years. So that's also there for you to look into. So thank you, and yeah, bye-bye. Have a nice weekend. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.